guys, I'm Winnie English for SheKnows, and we are hanging out with one of our favorite characters from New Girl and our Girl Crush of the Month, Hannah Simone.
Hi.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, of course.
So, New Girl has just taken off. I mean, it's insane. Everyone I know watches it. I'm obsessed with it. It's your first sitcom. Were you surprised by the success of the show?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing. I remember when I read the script, you know something is so special and cool, and Zoe was attached and Liz Meriwether had created it, but you never know until you put it out there what the response is going to be, and it's been wonderful.
It's wildly popular.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Like, I can't complain about that.
Right.
So, have you gotten any crazy fans yet?
No, the fans of New Girl are pretty awesome. Like, they're really, really awesome. Everybody's been really nice, and it tends to be on the one note of, why don't you get back together with Schmidt?
And you're like, I don't write the show.
I don't write the show. I'm Hannah.
I'm Hannah. I'm not Cece.
But also, to get the record straight, Schmidt dumped her at the end of last season.
That's true.
She gave him an opportunity to get back together this season. He ended up drunk with his boss / fun partner.
Right.
And stood her up.
He's not doing that much to deserve Cece to get back together
I'm
with
just
him.
saying he should do the work. It's not like I've been like pushing him away. You
Exactly.
know? Cece's given him a lot of opportunities. Schmidt needs to step up now.
Right. So similar to Cece, you actually got your start in modeling as well. Tell me about how that happened.
When I lived in Cyprus, when I was little, they did like an island-wide search for like the new face. Mm-hmm. And I was one of the girls that was picked. And so I was like on the cover of the magazine, which was like really crazy and great. And then I did a little bit of modeling while I was in Cyprus, and it was fun. It was kind of nice to kind of express yourself that way. And I really sort of developed like a love for photography and fashion, which was really great. So that's where I modeled. I really enjoyed it.
Very cool. So what was probably your best experience modeling?
For my mother. My mom has a clothing store in Cyprus. My mom's a designer called Indian Treasures, and she would put on fashion shows. So once I did that, I got on the cover of this magazine, then I would model on my mom's shows as well. And that was always fun because my mom has great clothes. She definitely used the fact that she was my mom and my boss to her advantage.
Okay.
You can't
she
say
was like
no.
A momager?
Exactly. Because you can't go home, right, and be like, oh, my boss is crazy, because your boss was around.
Right. Because then she's like, oh, yeah? Well, now you're going to be cleaning the dishes.
Exactly.
Now you're on yard duty.
She was my first job for my entire life. Every summer I'd go home and work in the store, which was really fun. It was really great. But it's still your mom in the store.
So now, how did you make the transition from modeling into acting?
I was always acting. I mean, I was acting way before I did that little area of my life. Been acting since I was, as far back as I could remember. My family moved countries so much, and every school I'd go to, I just joined the drama club, because then you would, all of a sudden, instead of being in a big school full of all these people you didn't know, you'd be in a more concentrated group of people that had similar interests, and you would get to play and have fun and create characters. And so I was always doing that. I really loved that.
It's a good way to make friends.
It's the best way. If you go to a new school and you find it overwhelming, join a club.
So obviously the characters on New Girl are very beloved, and I feel like when they get that much hype, people start to associate the character with the actor. Like you kind of said, people are coming up to you being like, Schmidt and Cece need to get together, and you're like, I'm Hannah.
Right.
So what is the cast like in real life? Is Zoe as funny and quirky as she is on the show?
I would say the thing that's truly that is the same on screen and off screen with our cast is the chemistry. Like, we are good friends.
Yeah.
You know, and we take care of each other. We're on this wild ride together.
Do you guys hang out offset?
Well, we shoot many, 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 many hours a day. So
you get
unless
tired of
I'm
each
going to
other?
bring them home and put them in my bed and just sleep for the few hours with them, which I don't think their families would appreciate.
So what do you do for fun when you're not working?
I sleep.
Sleep as much as possible.
I sleep. I don't know. You go to the movies. I go for a walk, and that's the thing that's so trippy in LA when you tell people like you like to go for a walk, because they're like, "What? You mean in your car?" Like, no, I just like walk in my car, like with my feet. I walk down the street.
Yeah.
Grab your girlfriend. You go for a walk. You grab some frozen yogurt and
You're going to need to get a dog to take on these walks. You told me you have 2 cats.
I know. I had them, one of my cats is like 10, the other is 7. They've been with me for the whole journey. They're good boys.
For the whole ride.
They're good boys.
So on the show, your mom is hounding you to settle down, get married, a nice Indian man.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting kind of how Cece got to that place, because I think she was very resistant to that idea of going the cultural, traditional route, until Jess takes her for that fertility test. And then I get the news that, or Cece gets the news that her clock is ticking a little faster, which is like a big wake-up call. And it's amazing how many women reached out to me after the eggs episode, because it makes you think about what place you are in your life, what are you doing, and who you're with.
Absolutely. So what are your parents like? Do they bug you about who you're dating?
My parents like? No, my parents are super cool. My parents, like, I call my dad like the first male feminist. Like, my dad is just like, as long as you are happy in your life and you are, you know, centered and grounded and have perspective, that's all that matters. That's it.
That's good.
Yeah, no, it's true. No one's ever put any weird pressure on me.
So are you single?
This is the thing I've learned. This is the thing I've learned very well, is because for so many years I sat in that seat and talked to...
So you know we have to ask.
I know you have to ask, because I used to have to ask. But I saw different people, and some people would make the choice to open up their private life. And what I saw with that is that once that door was open, you can never shut it. And so that means all the joys, but also all the things that are really private and personal, everybody's up in it. And so I think I just made a choice early on when I realized, oh my goodness, I'm going from the other side now, to just keep the door closed.
Can we ask what you look for in a man?
What do I look for in a man?
What qualities are important to you?
I think just in general, to be honest with, like, people and friends or people you work with, and then hopefully your partner as well, you want confidence and character and integrity and a sense of humor, because...
Very important.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who works in comedy.
Right. But not even like in the sense of humor of like, let's get jokes, man.
Right.
It's just that I think when things get tough or hard or you've had a long day, you just want someone who can make you smile. I think that's just priceless.
Perfect answer. You're like, I know, I've heard them all.
And likes cats.
And
they
likes
obviously,
cats.
yeah.
You have to like 2 cats.
You have to like 2.
And like to take them on walks.
Yeah, boisterous cats. I wish I could make them walk. I wish I could be a crazy cat lady that walks her
They've
cat.
got to have some sort of cat leashes you can
They
find
do.
somewhere.
I actually bought them once, but they, my cats were not down with that, man.
They were unruly on the leash.
They were like, please, no, that's not happening. What do we look like, a dog? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
Can't make us into dogs.
Right, I know,
Take
they were
your
not
stand.
into it at all.
So another thing I read about you is that you actually volunteered for the United Nations. What was that experience like?
Yeah, I had finished my first degree, and I was working with the foreign minister on a book. He was writing a book. I was just researching and helping on war-affected children and landmines, and it was so interesting. And that opportunity led to me working as a human rights and refugees officer at the UN in England. And that was wonderful because I'd spent so much time as a young girl growing up in countries that had gone through a lot of struggle. Let's put it that way. And we'd been, evacuated out of a war. And it was really great for me to be able to work with like a lot of young kids that were trying to put themselves in the shoes of people that had it harder than they did. And I got to do that for a year in that program, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
So is helping others and participating in charitable programs, is that still something that's important to you?
You have those things in life, I think, that help define who you are to yourself. They give you a sense of who you are. So for me, it's always been working in the human rights world and acting. It just has been, and I've always done both. But the paycheck has swapped hands like that. And I think so people have this perception of, oh, so and now you're an actress. And it's like, no, I've always done it. I just wasn't getting paid.
Right.
And
like, I can be both.
You can be both. You can be as many things as you would like.
You're not one-dimensional.
But no one is. Right. But I feel like, especially when you go to university, first year university, it's like, well, pick your major and then that's what you are. Just terrible.
Everybody wants to put you in a box.
Yeah.
Well, Hannah, we're so excited to see what happens with Cece and Schmidt on the show, and obviously to follow you in your career, which I'm sure will be long and successful.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you guys for watching. You can catch Hannah as Cece on New Girl every Tuesday on Fox.